everybody, and welcome back to G-Bear Skywriting School. And how do you write in the sky from one end to the other? Yeah, they started early this morning, and they're still going at it. Oh, not all of them, though. I saw a couple of planes that flew over that weren't leaving trails. But that's the way it is. So anyway, today is happy winter solstice for those of us in the northern hemisphere, and happy summer solstice for those in the southern hemisphere. Pretty interesting. We got complete opposites. The dog wants head scratches all of a sudden, just because I got the camera out, huh? He decided to photobomb me. All right. Yeah, they had their supper and their treats already. So anyway, wanted to make sure I got that out. Also, Cinnamon and Blackie, and I don't know where Limpy is. I know she's around here somewhere, because I just saw her out by my door when I was coming out. And then there's Midnight, and she's already inside the dog condo. I saw her go in there, because it's shortest day of the year here. And it's also their birthday. They are 1 year old today. Aren't you, Cinnamon? You're 1 year old, and Blackie too. I call him Dr. Blackie. If I get a little scratch or something on my leg, he comes over and licks it until it doesn't hurt me anymore. He's a good dog. When I was oh, look at that. He shut his engines off right there. Oh, he turned them back on. There's a big gap right over me. They must have got the word that I don't want them spraying me. All right. So anyway, I wanted to say happy solstice, winter and summer for the different hemispheres. And it is the shortest day of the year. It's not even 4 p.m. yet, and the sun's already on its way down. But the nice part is that starting tomorrow, the days start getting longer again. Yay! That's what I like. All right. So I got a little add-on here for one of my longtime viewers, Brush Bum. I want to show him this. I know I've done this video, but it was long time ago, before I even moved out of Orange County. And it's still in my playlist. If you want to go look at that one, it's called, it's in the Electrical Experiments and Such playlist. And the title of the video is, Not All LED Bulbs Are Created Equal. And I'm going to show you that right now, because I planned for that when I was getting ready to move off grid. So let me do one more thing. I want to come down here to my light bulb shelf and see if I've got any other brand in here of LEDs. Let's see. That's a GE. And I'm doing this because GEs are the best way to go. These CFLs, they're a pain in the neck. I don't know who the politician was that made a deal to bring these over from China and give us an excuse of that, oh, they're energy savers. They save on electricity. Yeah, but they're full of mercury too. and they're hazmat items if you want to dispose of them. Anyway, let's see what's. Oh, that's a different type. Let's see what else I got here. That's a GE also. I have lots of GEs. I also ordered some of these. These are 12 volt lighting, I think. Let me see. No, these are 40 watt bulbs. These are 120 volt. All right. Well, let's get on with this. I'm going to move on over here, and I'm going to stick my phone in the tripod. And they call it a tripod because you try to get your phone in there without hitting any buttons. Yeah, I know they don't. All right. So, let's see. I got to loosen that. Bring this up a little bit and tighten that. Just tilt it a little, and there we go. All right. So, here's the thing I wanted to show you. Not all LEDs are created equal. Now, I have this one here, which is a GE type LED, and we look at the information on it right here. I'll get it over there nice and close, okay? It says 120 volts AC, 60 hertz, 17 watts, okay? That's a 120 watt bulb. I'm a 120 volt bulb. Now, Brush Bum is looking for 12 volt bulbs for a 12 volt system. Now, you can use standard base bulbs like this in a regular lamp with a 12 volt bulb, and you can wire an electrical outlet for 12 volts DC instead of 120 volts AC. Okay? So if you want to do, like I did in my cabin, if you wanted to have lighting that is on 12 volts, then you could just wire the circuitry for 12 volts instead of 120 volts. Now, what's my point on these bulbs? This is, like I said, a 120 volt bulb. Now, I found out by accident years ago, while I was messing with LED bulbs and playing with electrical experiments, that GE bulbs back then, I don't know if they still do now, don't yell at me if you buy one and it doesn't still work. But when I was testing these, I found out that these can run on AC or DC. Now, I made this little ring thing here up so I can screw this onto the base like that. And I have my DC power supply here. So we're going to turn that on, and I've already set it for 12 volts DC, okay? So here are my two cables, and you can see that they're plugged right in. Let me tilt down a little bit. They're plugged into just the DC unit. All right. So I'm going to take the negative and clip it on to where the threads go. And here's the positive. And I'm just going to touch it to the bottom of the bulb. Hey, look at that. I got a bulb lit up. Look at that. And that's 12 volts. DC. All right. But this is a 120 volt bulb. It says it right there on the bulb. Now, I can take this same bulb, and if I tilt this up a little bit, you'll see I've got this light right here. We'll take the bulb out of that. I think that's an LED also. And we'll take the wire off the base of this bulb and screw this in here. And this is a 120 volt light. And turn it on. And we have light. Of course, it's brighter than it was with the 12 volts, but it still works with either 12 volt or 120 volts. Now, you're going to say, well, that's cool. I'm going to go buy some LED bulbs. Well, it doesn't work with all LED bulbs. Now, here's a great value Walnut brand, and this is a 75 watt equivalent. And we take this and screw the test wire on here. And I'll tilt you back down a little bit. And we're going to take our low voltage cables here, connect the negative on there, and tap the positive on the end. Hey, look at that. No light. This bulb does not light up on low voltage DC. And that's a brand new bulb, as you see. I just took it right out of that box. And you can see it's as clean as can be. It's never had anything on the contacts. So, I found that so far in my travels, the only ones that worked were LED bulbs by GE. Okay, now here's another GE, and this is the Reveal type GE. And this is also a 120 volt light bulb, 75 watt equivalent. Okay, now that's the same as what I just did there. So, if I bring this out the back of the package here and screw my test wire onto the bottom here, connect our ground to there, connect our positive to the base. Hey, look at that, we have light. So the GEs work with either 12 volt or 120 volts. Now again, these bulbs I bought before I came out here, and that's got to be 9 years ago at least, maybe even 10 years ago, because I did have them before I got out here because of this experiment I did back then and found out that these GE bulbs will work for either 120 volts or 12 volts. It'll work with AC or DC. All right. So another thing I found was, and I can do that here for you, but I don't want to take up too much of your time on this because, like I said, I've done all these experiments before, and I videoed them, and I posted them. But okay, we got that connected. We're going to put the ground wire on there, and I'm going to turn the power on, and we're at 12 volts DC, and I'm going to make contact with the bottom here and get the bulb to come on. There we go. Now we're going to start lowering the voltage. So let's bring it down to 10 volts. All right. It still lights. All right. Let's bring it down to 9 volts. It still lights. So if that's true, and I know it is because I did this, I found that Ace Hardware was the one that was selling these bulbs. Now see, it's down to 7 volts there, and it will not light. Okay, so Ace Hardware was the best place to get the GE bulbs. And I went into Ace Hardware, and I wanted to make sure that the bulbs they were selling would work for either 120 volts or 12 volts. So in order to do that, let's see, I'm going to put this one in here, back in here. In order to do that, to test them in the store, I took a 9-volt radio battery and I made a little unit from an old radio battery connector with 2 little alligator clips on it, so I could go into the store and I could use that 9-volt battery to test the light bulbs to see if they came on. And the guy that was in the Ace Hardware where I did that, a young feller, and he was sitting there doing some experiments with magnets and little AA batteries and that, where you bend the wire, you put it on top of the battery, and the wire will spin around. And I says, yeah, that's pretty cool. You want to see something? I says, come on over here. And I picked up a GE 120 watt bulb, 120 volt bulb, and I said, what voltage is this bulb? And he says, let me see. And he looked at the unit, the box, and he says, it's 120 volt. I said, what if I told you it'll work on 9 volts, DC? And he just looked at me like I was nuts. So, and I am. So I took out my little 9-volt battery, opened up the box, was like something like that, and took the GE bulb out, and I had him hold it there so I could touch the controls onto it, and the light came on. And he almost dropped the bulb. It surprised him. And he says, that's weird. I says, yeah. And the only bulb I've found that works that way is GE. No other brand does it. So for those of you who are interested in that kind of stuff, check out my playlists, Electrical Experiments and such, and you'll have a lot of fun looking at some old videos of some stuff I did there. Now, one more thing before I sign off here, and that is, I did get one new person coming to my channel. When I was talking about running all the lights in my cabin on one Seacon 12-volt battery, LiFePO4 battery, I had all the lights on in there, running all night long, and still didn't drop below 13 volts. And he made a comment that he heard the generator running in the background and said, oh, come on, G-Bear, as if to say I was running a scam. Now, I can tell you wholeheartedly, 100% guaranteed, you will never, ever get a scam run on my channel. I hate the people that do that, and I'm using the word hate, not dislike. I hate people who do those scams out there. And I see a lot of this stuff now. If you've watched a lot of my videos, you know that I am a fairly intelligent guy, and I've got a lot of skills in different fields. And what do you want to call them? I could do all kinds of different things, all right? So this guy was worried because he's watched other videos on YouTube of people running scams. And I'll tell you one scam that every time I see something starting off with it, I always just shut it off and move on to the next video. And that's with these guys that have a box full of old spark plugs, and they're going to make a free energy, 220 volt free energy, 2,000 watts electricity with some spark plugs and a magnet. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're full of shit. Excuse my French. It doesn't work that way. All a spark plug does is it has an electrode through the center, and then the outer casing of it, much like that light bulb that I was just using, the threaded part is the negative or the ground, and the bottom tip of it, that little bent over wire, that's connected to the ground. And then underneath that, there's a little electrode that goes through that porcelain spark plug all the way up to the top without touching the ground area. And that is at the top where the spark plug wire connects. Okay, and all that does is jump a spark. When power goes to it, it jumps a spark from one electrode to the other electrode. Okay, that's a spark plug. It does not create electricity. It will never create electricity. I don't care what you do to it, it will not create electricity. All it'll do is make a spark so that it can ignite some fuel. That's it. All right? So with that being said, my little rant for the day, I'm sure you enjoyed that. But it's a learning experience for some of you out there. Don't be fooled by a lot of these idiots on YouTube. They're all clickbaits. They're just trying to get clicks so that they can make money on you, and they're giving you false information. And then again, I'll tell you, on my channel, you will never, ever be spoofed like that. I don't do that stuff. I don't condone that stuff. It'll never happen on my channel. So what you see on my channel, rest assured, it's true, and it will work if you try to duplicate that situation. All right? I want to thank y'all for joining me. This is G Bear, signing off.